Hello, my name is Jim Schwarz with Continuus Technologies in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a product engineer for our Delta Tools team, and today I'd like to talk to you about one of our Delta tools called deltaRefresh. The main purpose of deltaRefresh is to manage and minimize data drift between your production and your lower environment databases. To accomplish this, we configure deltaRefresh to your environment, starting with the database backup files from production and including the server and database details for each environment stack that you want to include in the refresh tool. The three basic steps to the refresh process are pre-refresh, refresh, and post-refresh. Once the database details are configured for a stack of environments, then the deltaRefresh tool can be used to refresh or provision databases on demand as well as on a scheduled basis. Let's take a quick look at the databases in our lab environment stack. Our prod database has been set up with a few tables to demonstrate the pre- and post-refresh capabilities. One table contains columns that will be manipulated by SQL in the pre- and post-refresh process. One table contains a column that has a timestamp inserted each minute. And finally, a table that gets data exported before and imported after the refresh to remain static in that environment. Over in our test environment, we see the same tables exist, and we can use them to verify the freshness of the data as well as the validity of our pre- and post-refresh processes. In this example, we're using Jenkins for our build server. The Jenkins job parameters have been set up according to the configuration that's been set up within deltaRefresh for your environment. For this example, I'm going to select the test environment database to refresh and then click on the build button. As the refresh process starts, some basic housekeeping takes place. The deltaRefresh code is pulled from the Git repository, a Jenkins workspace is set up, and the deltaRefresh configuration files are read. Finally, the database's configuration will be checked to see if it is locked. If the database is not locked, then the pre-refresh steps are executed. After the pre-refresh steps complete successfully, the restore of the database from the backups begins. In SSMS, we can see the database being restored by the process. When the SQL restore process completes successfully, then the post-refresh steps will execute. If the database is configured to execute delta deploy, it will do that after the successful completion of the post-refresh steps. Now that our database refresh is complete, we can go back to the test database and examine our tables for the data freshness and to see if they've retained the data and modified with SQL the data that they were supposed to as part of the process. Minimizing data drift is the single most effective way to improve the accuracy of testing changes in a data-centric environment. deltaRefresh gives you all the tools you need to manage the data in your multiple environments with ease, efficiency, and speed.